week. It rained all week. All we get the last 2 years, I don't know if it's every once in a while, oh, we had sunshine.
Yeah.
Like it seems like there's no more season. I mean, even the hurricane season, they say, you know, the hurricane season
Longer.
used to be,
very defined.
yes, now there's no, so are you finding that you're changing your seasons with planting, or is this area kind of a microclimate where it's sort of being consistent?
I think I like the
That's
word
a
that
good
you just used,
question.
the microclimate thing. What happens is that, yes, you might see a change in the amount of days that you get rain, and yes, you can see some changes in, you know, maybe this week I was expecting some rain, but I didn't get the rain. However, there is still a very fairly consistent pattern, and it has not reached to the point where we have to change our planting season yet.
Okay.
For example, I am still going to plant beans when I normally plant, which is in December. Yeah, December is when I plant beans. However, I think I attribute that to the amount of vegetation that we have in this district still.
Yes.
Oh.
Toledo still has a very fair amount of vegetation, and I think that is influencing our rain cycle patterns.
Okay.
Now, if we lose our vegetation, then of course that changes, because then we're at the mercy of when it is that the rains are going to fall, and then we're going to be worried about when it's going to rain and when the sun is too intense. However, I can say that over the past 3-4 years, the time when we expect rain to fall has changed a little bit. For example, last 2 years, I did not harvest good corn because when that corn was flowering, I had expected some rain in the month of December. You know, some light drizzling, but that did not come. I also expected some light raining for the beans that was flowering in January. That did not come. And so that affected my crop. But it is slight little changes that sometimes we do not notice, but it is ever present there. But it is not like we can see some abrupt changes and say, you know what, the entire month of April, which was dry, now we have rain. No, that is not what is happening yet. I at least from my experience, I don't know if you would agree with me, Mr. Kus.
Yeah, this time from June to December we are rainy season, but like how you say, climate change. It's sometimes like September comes, it's too much sun. And so this year now I see too much rain. Too much rain.
True, because normally at least when I was growing up as a child, I remember the month of August, you had what you call a dry season, the maga season. And so you could say that, you know what, in the August is going to be dry. But that is not the case, because August was very wet this year. And November would be a little bit drier, but we still have a lot of rain this time. So it's these changes that you really can't put your finger on to say that, you know what, next year is going to be the same, this year is a different. But I think we are adapting. And this system right here
This helps.
helps a lot. Why? Because even if it rains, moisture is going to be in the soil. If the sun comes out, there is still going to be moisture because there is that soil cover there. And that is important, I think. It's about keeping soil moisture always and having all of these microorganisms interacting with each other and keeping that balance there. I don't know how you see it, Isidoro.
Well, in my idea, I think as a farmers, we have to work with the climate change. We will not say that it will rain or not rain. We have to still work as it flows on. Like myself, a lot of people tell me, oh, I will plant beans. You will change your little bit of farming. Instead of planting beans, maybe you just scatter beans in your in there. That's what I did. When I scatter my beans, it come out pretty. But those who plant, they're no growth good because there's a lot of rain dropping all the time. So that's the way I see it. You have to adapt with the climate. The more you intend to read your climate change, you intend that we have to study planting maybe beans every month, because this month again I plant some beans again, and some of my farmers say, why are you planting beans too early? Well, I will try, because as a farmers I need to know where your question come from, which the best month you should plant beans. Because maybe we are like Gustavo said, maybe we always know that we could plant beans in December. Who knows that we could plant beans till January or February? Who knows? So those are things that I have to really concentrate with that agreement with the climate change, because rain falls always. We have 1 day sun, 2 days just like that. We have to live with it.
I know in a community like San Antonio, for example, farmers are being a little bit more experimenting.
Yeah.
For example, so normally we have 2 planting seasons for corn. We plant corn in May and in October, November. October, November. I know in San Antonio, for example, you had farmers planting in July, August, September, and they still got a crop. And so that is the opportunity, I think, that we have to start looking for. How is it that now that we have more rain, how is it that we can change our planting season a little bit more? Maybe we can plant more crops. Maybe we can have a more longer planting season. Instead of planting only in May, June, maybe we can plant July, August, September, October, like what Isidora said. But that is experimenting.
Yeah.
That is trying to adapt. That is trying to find a solution. And it's maybe not even a solution. It's just how it is that we'll deal with our realities, because climate change is here. You can see it happening, but you need to adapt to it as you move along. And you're going to adapt by changing your planting seasons and also ensuring that you always have seed, though. That is important. Always have seed to plant, because if you plant all your seeds now in November, for example, and then you have an unsuccessful crop, then you lose your seeds. But if you plant it over a period of time, more than likely some of those seeds will reach to the stage where you can harvest some and you can save more seeds. I think that's a key takeaway from this discussion.
Yeah.
You said plant corn in May, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
We planted corn, I think, right, maybe end of April, early May.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about that high. And then it was the day after my birthday, May 19th.
Mm-hmm.
It was under a foot of water.
Strange, right?
Like a foot of water.
Okay. Now, we had some similar situations in Aguacate and Blue Creek. Farmers planted, and where they normally planted, because they knew that November would be the last time the river floods. But there was a flood in the month of January, took away the corn. So those are some of the things that we have to grapple with, but we always have to be, what does it mean? Does it mean that because we don't know how the climate is going to be, we stop planting?
Yeah.
No. It means that we have to continuously planting and continuously be experimenting. Good then. Mr. Kus, you want to move somewhere else to